Welcome, guys. Welcome to another edition of Unequal Opinions, where we will discuss, debate, and talk about what is, we know, just very concerning to everyone right now. Kanye or Drake, which album is better? Who's winning this beef? Shout out to Styles P. And
Yeah.
Say what you want to say, James.
No, that shit was funny.
I didn't get to finish it. I didn't get to finish the Styles P chant. Just yet.
On the interview, it was good.
Or hold on, what was he on the I Am Athlete?
I Am Athlete.
Yeah, I didn't get to finish it. I was watching it when I was cooking. And I was like, damn, I really need to get back to this because it looked like he was. I saw Chad versus Science.
Yeah,
Styles was taking him on. I'm like,
nah, Styles did. I loved Styles. Like, it was great. Like, you should definitely finish it.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish it.
But he kind of shares my sentiments. For like
fighting.
like y'all niggas is not gonna fight. Like, fam, like it's like y'all not gonna do nothing. You got an album about your mama. You got an album talking about bitches, like and how rich you are. Like, fam, what are we even doing here? But we are going to talk about, just those two albums that came out, CLB and Donda, we'll talk about which one's better, who's better, Drake or Kanye, and we'll get into the beef just a little bit. But I want to start with K-Dot, and I want you to tell me, just kind of get into, I guess we'll start with Donda. How did you feel about Donda?
So Donda's an album which I will say on first listen, I felt something, and it was one of those things where it just sort of hit me. I don't know if it was I was having an overly emotional evening because I'm a Pisces and we do that. It's just I legit was not the first night. The following day, I was sobbing to 24 easily. I'll fully admit that I was sobbing like a little fucking schoolgirl to 24. But the Donda album, like there are certain moments in that album to me that are just transcendent. It's just it's a singular thing. Like there's only one guy that could have this ever come out, and it's Kanye. And it's just it reaches some of those peaks. But I will say my love for the album has kind of changed as I've gone on and continued listening to it. Whereas some albums, the more you listen to, the more you're falling in love with it. Tyler's one of those ones that the more I listen to his album, the more I'm falling in love with the album. Right?
For sure.
Kanye has had that happen. Like Life of Pablo. I'd say it took me 2 or 3 listens to really start getting into it. And that's still an album that I got a few songs on that album still in heavy rotation for me. But Donda, the more that I listen to it, the more out of love I am with it. Because those transcendent moments, while they are high, there are some other moments that, while I'm not going to say a low marks, they're just not at all. They just don't fit with where those high marks to me are on that album. It's kind of convoluted, but I don't know. I have a really, really deep relationship, I think, with Kanye's music compared to where it is in my life. And to see him get so vulnerable on other sides and then get so goddamn shallow sometimes, where some people look at it as being the complexity of a person. I get that, but not on this album. That's not what I was looking for. And I think it feels disjointed sometimes when I'm listening, where it's just like, if I'm in one mindset and it continues going, I'm like, this is just nonsense.
Man, I'm so fucking glad you said that. Like, you hit on like a part for me, because like it seems like an album that would be deep, but it's not.
Right.
It's not. And I think it speaks to Kanye's, for me, if you're asking me, is it a bad album? No, it's not. Like, despite having two fucking hours of music, it's not a bad album, because I honestly feel like Kanye probably can't make a bad album. In that it'll be, the production will be there. It's going to sound like something. And he puts albums together so well. Like he the way he puts tracks together and everything, like it's just hard for him to make an actual bad sounding album. And I just feel like for me, it's just empty calories though. The album is just, I'm just like, okay, hey, this sounds good, but what is he saying?
I will say,
like this doesn't matter to me.
I will say this album, for the first time, I'm actually kind of scared of what's coming next. I really do think that we might be in a territory where Kanye does not put out a good album. I just feel as though from where it is that even with the listening parties that we were having, and I know that you were one that stayed, you both of you, I think, stayed away from all the listening parties when it came to the listening events
I
for
watched
Donda.
like some of the first one, but not none of the rest.
James, I think, was the one that kind of mentioned it. It might have been both of you that mentioned it, and I pushed back on it, which was that give a creative more time to create. And I think
Yeah,
it
that was
works
me.
in the opposite space for Kanye. Is that I'm seeing a project kind of devolve the more time he has, and I think that there is the people that he's surrounding himself with. I think that we had a light at the end of the tunnel early on the Donda release, and I think some people that were usually around him when he was on the bullshit who kind of crept back. And there seems to be this dynamic of Kanye where it was like we almost had something, then it went away, and I don't know if we're gonna get it back because this album feels to me like we're the tide might be changing or shifting.
Well, it's funny you say that, and James, I want you to hit on how you felt about Donda right after this. But because do you think though that that's the album that Kanye wanted to put out? Because there are the rumors that Universal released it without his approval and everything. But at the same time, we also know that Kanye's been a guy who has released an album and then kind of continued
Tiana.
working on it.
Well, here's the thing that even I'll push back on him, which Tiana Taylor's album. Like it's not like he has let an artist rock creatively with exactly what it is they want in the final product. Like Pusha T, he still thinks Daytona to me is still one of my favorite albums in the last 10 years. And
Daytona.
I just think there's no fluff. It was just concise, which I guess creatively from a Kanye standpoint, I get where he was going with, and I actually kind of appreciated the choice. But when you hear Pusha talk, nah, man, I wanted more in the album. And it's one of those things where it's like, all right, wait, he might have a problem with Universal doing this to him, but it ain't like he is not above doing it to his artists or doing something to the other artists. I just think he's being kind of hypocritical.
All right. Well, yes, but I mean, we're talking about like, well, that's fair. No, that's fair. That's fair. Go ahead, James.
So to like continue on with K-Dot's point, don't forget what he did to Nas. So just want to add that in there. Now, in regards to the album, the cool part I saw was that for the first time, like you can say that Kanye created live art musically, right? Where he was sitting there and this like he sold out fucking stadiums, like playing music, and then the next time he goes, like he changed some shit, played music, and like you hear different versions, right? That was cool. That was the first time and probably the only time I believe that's ever happened.
He's done listening parties before for some of the previous albums.
Yeah, but like not in
but not to this magnitude.
Not to this magnitude.
Yeah.
No, not selling tickets and making how many tens of millions of dollars before the album gets on.
Merch and everything like that.
Right. I'm still waiting for my stem player.
You'll probably be waiting a long time.
I know.
The biggest issue I have with Kanye in this album is when like anytime I have a meeting with somebody, when we start, I'm asking what's the purpose of this meeting? Why are we meeting? Why are we sitting down? What are we discussing? What is the purpose of this album? What is it named after? His mom. How much content was about his mom? The best song that would have been a tribute to his mom didn't even make the album. So there's a lot of issues I have with this. Like if in this era, it's like a playlist era, so people will sit there and just like picking their favorite songs and just throw them on whatever playlist and move on. People consume music so fast. If you sit down and listen to it, if you don't know what Donda is, it's cool. If you go in expecting something, which is what him and Drake did with all this stupid bullshit beef, where you build up all this expectation and then you get the whatever they were working on. I'll touch on Drake a little bit later, but with Kanye, like the content wasn't really what it was supposed to be. And then I'll add one last part. We always look at artists and say we want growth from them, but with Kanye, don't confuse movement with growth. He's jumping around, but I don't see the actual growth in my opinion. Like for what I'm looking for. So that's what I got to say about Donda.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It like Kadeem said, like it felt disjointed. Like he's kind of all over the place. And like and to your point, James, a song that came out with 3 Stacks, which wonderful fucking verse, 3 Stacks. I wish that would have made the fucking album. Wonderful verse. But with that song, Kanye didn't even stay on topic.
That's why I wish it didn't get on the album.
Well, no, I wish
did.
that. No, just
there's
3 Stacks.
Multiple versions. Just so you guys know,
of course,
the original that he did, he was more on topic than the one that Drake released with the Drake diss on it. Because I don't think the Drake diss was on the first one.
It wasn't. I mean, according to 3 Stacks, and I don't think 3 Stacks is lying about any part of this. So, like, the thing with me is that song in a microcosm is a problem with Kanye in this album. It's like that to me was the perfect prime example of the bullshit and why this album to me fell short of what my expectations were at the beginning, and then even on first listen, what it lulled me into emotionally. And then I felt disjointed. Because, I mean, this was also one of the first Kanye albums I couldn't get through in one sitting all the way through the first time. I just didn't have the fucking time, right? It was just so goddamn long. But the idea to me is, like, the same thing with that 3 Stacks song is you can see the longer time he has and the more bullshit that's around him is the more that it plays into the art. And it's, to me, I push back a little bit on what you said as far as seeing growth compared to movement with Kanye. I think Kanye actually does grow with every album. And I think that there's, what's frustrating about Donda is that there are certain moments on this that are him at his most vulnerable. He's talking about his relationship with Kim. He's talking about his mental health issues. He's talking about his mom. Like, there's a lot of things that he's going down to the core of what Kanye is and really getting there. And even sonically, there's certain things that he's doing where I'm saying, all right, growth. You know that I've told you guys numerous times how I appreciate the same way that I think Tyler does now, him using vocal samples as almost instruments throughout his music. And I think Kanye's hitting certain levels with that where I'm like, all right, man, you really understand. Like, I keep going back to the song 24. The song 24 to me is what Jesus is King strive to be, right? In the sense of, like, bringing real life shit to where it is that you are in your religious journey or where you are spiritually. That to me is growth. But even with that, he still can't get past the bullshit, which is why he then gets distracted and wants to talk about Drake for the entire goddamn verse after 3 Stacks just pours his heart out. The more time you give Kanye around the bullshit, the more it gets wrong. It's the same reason that, like, Jail Part 1 compared to Jail Part 2, to me is another perfect microcosm of what it is with Kanye. You have Jay on the album, on that verse. To me, it's one of the most impactful verses of the last few years because of how real Jay is being when it comes to their relationship. And you never get that from Jay. And you can see that, like, all right, this is the lane in which we're going to stay with this song. But give Kanye enough time, what does he do? I got to be controversial. Let me get Marilyn Manson and DaBaby here on this thing, even though it doesn't fit anything that I'm doing with the rest of the album. Why? Because it gets people talking, right? It reminds me of the sample they used on Niggas in Paris. Like, it gets people going. Like, it's just there. What's real now compared to what is it that you on your bullshit about? Like, when we saw him bring out Marilyn Manson and DaBaby out on the porch, part of you wants to say, okay, maybe he's going as far as saying, like, everybody can be forgiven, or that, like, regardless of what you do. That's not what DaBaby's verse is. There's no apology in that shit. He's doubling down. Like, he's just feel sorry for me and the fact that you took food on my kids. Not I did anything wrong. It's, dog, what are you doing? Like, there's nothing vulnerable about this. To me, it's just you give him more time and enough bullshitters around him, we get this.
I feel like he didn't get that deep. I feel like his deep was surface level. Like, it wasn't like, even when he was talking about Kim and shit like that, I was like, oh, okay. Okay. Like, I mean, I guess. Like, he wasn't really, like, forthcoming to me, but I don't want to stay on that.
Okay.
So, all right. Just as a ranking, like, not even as a ranking, but how would you rate this album? Like, 0 to 10, what would you give it?
Ooh, that's fucking hard. Because if you were to ask me 3 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, I'd probably be 8.5. I'd probably 8.5, 9, somewhere around there. Yeah. I still don't think I'm exactly where this is going to land for me over time. When it comes to this album, I still think my relationship with the album is still growing. I think right now I'm still looking at a solid 7, just because the highs to me are transcendent, and the fact is that his singing has gotten better. Like there's certain aspects I'm like, all right, there's some things I'm really liking with this album. There's some songs that I'm going to go back to a lot, but overall as a project, I'm still trying to figure out exactly where it pieces together, because I still think there's certain things he's doing which is setting a standard of music going forward, which I still think he does in a certain degree with this album. But I need to figure out where it all lands out, and I still think it's too much in flux right now.
Okay, James?
6. And I said that because I'm comparing Ye to himself and looking at his past like projects. Of course, this sounds like good, sounds better than some, but the content, like, it's not for me. So I don't see myself coming back to it. Like,
okay.
Shit, I don't even listen to Jail anymore. Like when it first came out, you like, oh, this is great. And then you look at how you move forward, and I'm like, ugh. Like anytime I think about Jail now, I think about Jay's verse and what he said. He was like, when he was talking about the red hat, like take the hat off, we're going home type of shit. And I'm like, this fucker had on a red hat. And I just remember that. And I'm like, like, I don't really even care. There's too much music that's coming out now that I can relate to more, that makes more sense, that stays on brand to whatever the fuck the artist is like reaching for, that I'd rather just listen to. As time has moved on, I've grown away from Kanye. Like when I was in middle school, high school, whatever, in college, listen to Kanye all the time. But as time grew on, like I would listen to one song, but I never. He's kind of going into the class of how I feel about Eminem, to where I'm not going to roll down my windows and bump Kanye anymore.
You should have never been doing that with Eminem.
Yeah, but you're saying
that's what I'm saying. That's where he's going
to that level. Okay,
that's where he's going. Yeah. Like, what song do you feel comfortable like riding around your neighborhood, like going 30 miles an hour with your windows down, like blasting?
I still do that with Donda.
I'll be honest. I've listened to Donda. I listened to Donda twice, haven't played it since. And to James' point, I really don't like listen to any of the songs like that. And I thought I would definitely with Jail, Hurricane, every now and then I listen to the radio, and Hurricane gets played on the radio, and it's like, okay, cool, yeah. But it's like it's almost elevator music to me, because like I kind of tune out any of the lyrics. It's the album is filler. I think what Kanye is at the DJ Khaled point of his career, and he is just like, he has nothing left to say right now at this point right now, and he has nothing to say that can be impactful. It'll be heard and it'll make waves, but it won't be impactful as far as the culture is concerned. As far as I'm concerned, like I don't care to hear like Kanye lyrics. But hey, the Fabio verse, amazing, right? Like good, like Fabio killed that shit, right? Like and like we said with 3 Stacks, killed that shit. Jay's verse killed that shit. Everybody else's verse, hey, he did. Everybody else's verses, the verses are great from other people. I can't remember a Kanye lyric to save my life right now from Donda. I rank it personally about a like 6.1, 6.2, something like that. And that's just how I feel about it. I might revisit it later, but it's not a great album to me. It's not a good album. It's Kanye's version of, it's like Kanye and Friends, DJ Khaled. Let's get some features. And because I have nothing to say, and my production is great.
Well, I mean, that's another. Yeah, I know that I like this album more than you guys do. That's without saying. And I like even hearing you guys talk about it in that way. Like I find myself wanting to defend it, just from a standpoint. Like it does resonate with me in certain ways. It absolutely does. I'm not gonna say that it doesn't. Like it definitely makes me feel a lot. But then once again, it's like when I'm in that emotional space, another song comes on. He starts about his bullshit. I'm just like, man, you took me out of it, and it's frustrating for me, just because there are certain emotional areas that he gets to that I'm like, I'm right there with you. Like, and even with that, there are certain aspects of him from an artistry standpoint in which you got people that actually meet and try to interpret some of the lyrics or interpret certain things that he's doing, like the rumors that go around as far as the first track where it's just his mother's name being said, and then there are the rumors about like what did that mean, right? So there's the one that I think most people have latched on to, which is that the
Heartbeat.
Donda's being said towards like her heartbeat towards death, and I'm like, if that's true, that to me is another level. Like that to me is extremely vulnerable to the point where I think that there even could be an uncomfortable conversation about whether or not that's even okay to do. But to me, that is something artistically that I respect to a certain degree. And I think that he still has it. And I think when James, when you were talking about the jail deal, as far as Jay-Z saying the red hat thing, that's what I feel about Kanye right now, is that I felt as though the first couple listening sessions that he had, it was he's coming back. Like we got him. Like he's back to being vulnerable, right?
I heard the Jay version. I thought that too.
And the thing is that I still think it was there. I think the longer he sat with it and the more people that came through and the different verses that he had and where his mind space was with the Drake situation and everything else polluted it. And I think that to me is where the battle is for Kanye's soul right now is, are you going to be about your artistry? Or are you about the spectacle of it? Are you about getting involved in the beef? Are you about all the shallow nonsense and bullshit? Where are you? And to me, it felt like we almost had it. There are moments that I feel as though he's there and that it just disappears by the end.
I think you're holding on to old Kanye. And I think you're trying to get him back, and I don't think it's happening.
Which is why I said about the future, right? Which is why when you said that bit about like, I agree that I'm kind of scared that I'll never see this part of him again. Is like, I can understand if we never, like, this might be the last thing that I can hold on to as far as having the emotional connection if he continues down this other road.
This might be the last album.
No, he's making too much money. I think at that point there is that business side of Kanye where I think that he cares about more than the artistry part to a certain degree right now, at least to Ralph Feathers.
What would be the most artistic thing rather than to make your last album titled after your mom and you become a billionaire and you do whatever the fuck you want?
But he's too to K-Dot's point, he's too caught up in himself and into everything else right now to, I think, stop. I agree with you, James. Don't get it twisted. I agree with you. I think it should be. It would make sense if it was the masterpiece that he wanted it to be. And it was. But it wasn't. And so I don't think. I think we might even get a Donda Part 2 or some shit. Like I don't know. But I think that he and to segue and Drake are both in the twilight of their careers musically. So with that said, I want to say I think CLB is Drake's worst album. It's worse than Thank Me Later. I enjoyed Thank Me Later. What I did myself personally was kind of do like I did it like basketball style. I just kind of like looked at the songs and was like, what's your shooting percentage on this album? Right? That's how I did it. And so for me, he went like, I believe it was like 12 of 21, something like that. And I'm like, that's not it for me. Like this has happened on Drake's last two albums. He's put out too much music in that if he shortened them and like made them a little bit more concise and with a point, I won't say that they're classics, but they'd be much better albums. Scorpion could have been a classic if that's a 12 song album, it maybe could have been a classic. But this one, I just think somebody said this as well, and I completely agree with it. They said it felt like Drake made a parody album of Drake. And I was like, this is fucking accurate. Because it just, I don't know, for me, it's something missing. There's something missing with it. He's Drake. Same as Kanye. He's got some bangers. Like it's some shit like I'm gonna keep listening to. I like the Way Too Sexy shit. Not even gonna hold you. I like it. I thought it's fun. It might not be. It might not be for me. I heard it in the car.
Exactly. On the way to something.
On the way to something.
Exactly.
On the way to something. And
that's the only time it works.
Yeah, exactly. And I also heard it on the boat when I was at work, and I was like, oh, okay, everybody got excited. It was nice. Yeah. But like he has some bangers. He's Drake. But I feel the same way about Kanye. It was empty calories. He said a lot of nothing to me. He said more than Kanye did, but he said a lot of nothing. Like if Kanye was like at a 1 to 10 on like quality content lyrically, Drake was at like a 5.
All right, can I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so I had two different quotes for both of them, right? So the first one for Ye already said, like, don't confuse movement with growth. And then for Drake, I said, no content, just vibes. Because that's all it is.
That is. It is.
Like, fam, Drake
No
is the
content,
king
just
of just chilling. And like, if all the quote unquote bad girl, like bad bitches, like want to hear it because of the beat, and he's basically only talking to them. And then they just start singing it, and it's like, oh yeah, all the dudes want to rock it now because all the girls love it. To me, that's all Drake is to me. He talks to the women love it, dudes gotta love it because the women love it, and dudes want the women, and boom.
Drake is in a position right now where I've said this time and time again. Drake has anywhere between 3 to 5 kinds of songs, and that's it. Like that's kind of it. Like he doesn't like. I'm not talking about his features. I'm saying
this
his
is completely
songs.
Accurate. No, that is completely accurate, and I think it might just be 3.
It might be 3. Like I could like if I go like the one dance, like all right, you get into your maybe it's not quite dance hall, but you're kind of using the thing, and it's like I got to stretch to get to 5. That's it. You're hearing a version of one of those 3 for albums. I can't get through a Drake project. It bores the shit out of me. He's never saying anything.
Drake is Marvel.
No, don't do that.
No.
Think
about it. No. Think about it. Drake is Marvel. Like it's a lot of copy and paste.
No, here's what I'll say.
The Dune producer said.
No, he is DC Studios without Christopher Nolan. Like the reason I give him Marvel and he's the other Marvel, he doesn't have a Taika Waititi movie in him. He doesn't have a let me go hire somebody who's so weird for this and I'm going to get creative with it. No.
He's afraid of himself. He's afraid of that.
Drake
More Life is his weird shit. I mean, that was
if he leaned all the way in, I might be with that. But he doesn't.
But he won't. He's formulaic.
Because this is what he right now, this album to me feels like I just got some like watered down Canadian R&B Weird Al Yankovic that doesn't quite know exactly what he wants to be. Like it's to a point where it's almost like he uses Eminem B Rabbit's defense mechanism, which I'm going to self-parody myself so you can't make fun of me. Like there is that element of like, I'm just a fuckboy. And here I'm going to tell you about all the ways I'll fuck everybody over, but you still should feel sorry for me because this is what I'm thinking mentally. Nigga, no, like there's none of that. Like I'm not, it just annoys the shit out of me that it's like, dude, you have talent. You got a lot of talent and you know what's going to work, what's going to sell, what's going to do this, what's going to do that. And it's like, hey, I'm perfectly fine in this lane, which is cool. All right, if that's what you are, but don't ever try to put yourself in the same. You are McDonald's. You got the product, you got everything else, but you're not. I'm not looking at you for artistry. I'm not looking at you for seeing what it is you say or how deep you're getting, because you're not. You can't do that. You can't give that to me, especially when you're a hypocrite in almost every other thing. How you walking around keep talking about how the Drake, the Kanye thing don't bother me, nigga? You can't stop talking about it. you can't stop talking about it. It has bothered him so much to the point where, you know who's gotten more play, even above Kanye in the last 2 weeks for me? Pusha T. Because I keep thinking about Pusha every time I think about the Drake thing. I'm like, just to counter this bullshit, I'm going to play this one. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Ooh, he got beans on this song. I'm going to listen to this right now. Like, what do you want to be, Drake? Like, you can't keep doing this shit. Which is why, like, him and Kanye, I can never put them in the same category in the sense of artistry. What I do think is that they have gotten each other to a point of they're using each other to just see how shallow each other can be. It's like a race to shallowism. And what makes it even harder to contend with is that there are a lot of artists that are putting out so much better work and are actually selling. Like Tyler, the Creator.
Best album this year so far.
I still love the Vince Staples album that came out this year, the J. Cole album that came out this year. And if you're a hip hop head right now, ain't nobody giving a shit about this except I still need to listen to Baby Keem's album. And I'm actually dedicated. I think no, here's the thing. I'm legit thinking about getting an Airbnb. I was thinking about going up to Philly and I'm having that be like my soundtrack for that trip. Like I'm waiting for
top of the morning.
So I'm waiting for that. Like I want to give that because I think everything to PG Lang and but what I was gonna say is that everybody's waiting for Kendrick.
Let's get this shit.
Everybody's waiting for Kendrick. Like we're not waiting because Kendrick's the guy that can mold two things together.
Let me counter that for a second.
Oh boy.
All right. So people gravitated towards the Baby Keem album because of Kendrick and the Kendrick verses on Family Ties and the other
Range Brothers.
Right. People made fun of Range Brothers because somebody leaked.
But it's a good song.
On the top of them. That shit was funny. But what I will say is people came there for Kendrick, but stayed for Baby Keem.
Right.
So it's people are waiting for Kendrick, of course. But
I'm not saying anything to denigrate Baby Keem. Like I said, I want to dedicate an Airbnb trip to listen to his album. So like there is an element, but I'm saying for Kendrick, Kanye and Drake are no longer in the stratosphere. There are too many other people now. There are too many other people that can put out high quality stuff that's anticipated. Without the bullshit, without the nonsense, and I'm sorry. The Andre 3000 and what Drake and Kanye both did to him is forever tainted their legacies for me. That's just what it is. Yep. I'm not going to be able to get over that. And I think both of them are guilty of that shit.
I agree.
And to me, it's just there are other artists that are doing so much more, that are being vulnerable, that have good production, that know how to put together a song, and is going to get some radio play. If I'm going to get all of those things, why am I bothering? Like the beef thing isn't working to sell it. I mean, it's getting us talking about it because it's interesting, and there's nothing we like doing more than pitting two black guys against each other. But that's just what it is.
Yeah, Drake get into the Lamar Jackson thing later at some point.
Drake said this in an interview with B Dot and Elliot after Scorpion dropped. But he said, like, I could make the 12-song, 14-song album and go for the classic, but my fans wouldn't. He said something like, but my fans wouldn't like it. But I'm like, bro, like, because he's so, like you said with the 3 to 5 songs, he has to give you the Memphis song. He's going to give you the Memphis sounding song on every album. He's got to give you the Memphis sounding song. However, as somebody who thoroughly enjoys Memphis music, I'm fine with that. Like, I'm a fucking 3 6 Mafia stan. Give it fucking to me. Project Pat is my nigga. Let's go. Crunchy Black, all that. I'm here for it. So I'm okay with that. But he's going to give you the deep, like, emotionless, like where he just raps the whole time. He's got to give you like a couple of those.
The whatever time and whatever city. Whatever.
The time step type of joints, right? He's going to have his bops and everything. Houston. But that's it. It's like, fam, if he were to, I think he's afraid to do the Certified Lover Boy should have been an R&B album. And he's afraid to do that. I think, and I don't know why, because Take Care is his second or his best album. And it's R&B heavy. So Far Gone is one of his best projects. It's R&B heavy. But he tries to do so many of the other things because I feel like he's afraid that he'll be judged, or he's afraid of something. I'm not sure what it is.
He's Ben Simmons. I'm afraid to not look cool. I'm afraid not to look cool for what it is that my image is. Not for what he thinks his image is. Like there's always this other angle of hypocritical. Drake is full of bullshit. He's the tough, soft guy, right? Like he's the when Pusha T was given to him, and he's on the shot. Well, you know, I had something that could have ended Pusha T's career, but I just didn't want to go there. Nigga, no, you didn't. Like,
no, in that same Shop episode, he said to LeBron, "You said you were proud of me." Like, what? That's a grown ass man. Y'all almost damn near the same age. The fuck? What are you doing, B? Like, come on, like.
And so my favorite part of the episode, how fast he snatched his phone back. Still
Drake to get into beef because I want somebody to call out some of the hypocrisy. Because on one song he'll tell you how emotional and everything and all this, and then he'll be like, "Yeah, mob ties." I'm like, bro, what the no?
It's already happened. But that's my thing. Is that it already happened? Which is why who would I say I listened to the last 2 weeks more than anybody else? Push, because Push laid it out. And here's the thing that everybody needs to understand about that beef. Drake is McDonald's. He's too big to fail. He's like one of the big goddamn banks in 2008. He's just too big to fail. You can't take him out. After I saw what Rick Ross was able to do after being a goddamn prison security guard and that have that affect his career, it's over. This is just people. Niggas ain't dying out here as far as their careers, regardless of whatever the bullshit is. Drake is in his lane. It's just it's just who he is. Like, it's not gonna impact him. But if you are a hip hop head, if you understand what the bars are supposed to mean, if you understand what the vulnerability is supposed to mean, if you understand all those things, Drake's not gonna be in that. He's just not in my headspace there. I'm not going to him for that. Do I think he's capable of it? Yeah. Do I think he's ever going to go there? Probably not.
I don't know.
I hate the term hip hop head because it makes me feel like you mean somebody who listens to like Slick Rick and like still like today.
That's maybe an old head. Old head.
No, but I just hate the term because it just kind of gives that like, oh, when you say hip hop head, like, oh, you're the type of person who's like Atlanta rap isn't real rap. Atlanta rap isn't real rap. That kind of shit. And that's not really true at all.
That's New York, though.
Your hip hop, if you respect hip hop, if you respect the tenets of hip hop, if you're not somebody, here to me is what a hip hop head is. It's different than an old head, right? A hip hop head is someone that understands the art of what hip hop is and understands it throughout. You have a historical context and love for the art form. It means that when everybody was complaining about mumble rap, you were like, hold on, it's not your place to complain about it. It's just not what we're listening to right now. Like, that's okay. It's not for you. You're not going out. You're not doing that. So I always had a respect for it. There is just, because I mean, shit, you can go back in the 80s or whatever. There's all kinds of fucking party songs. No nigga was rapping about shit.
That's my point. Hip hop started as a party music. It started as party music.
Rapper's Delight is trash. Okay? like
it was fucking party music.
All right. Can I go back to CLB? I have some questions for you guys.
Go ahead. All
right. So the first one, CLB was supposed to come out on February 14th, Valentine's Day of last year, correct?
January 1st. This year. Oh, yeah. February,
yeah.
Whack, right, so, that nigga.
Let me ask you this question. Now, what on this album dignified a certified lover boy?
That's my point too.
Going back to the same shit with Kanye.
I'm like, fam, like,
why are we
thought
here?
This was gonna be R&B or something, or lovey dovey or something, fam. Like, what the fuck? It's the same shit. You just naming albums, like that. The artwork is ass.
But but this go like,
I like the art.
It's a couple shit. So, all right. So half these songs on the album sounded dated. Fair? Because it sounded like some of his old shit.
It sounded like Scorpion Leftovers.
Right. Number two is the fact that half these songs were already leaked. So when you listen to it, I saw a bunch of people on Twitter. It's like, nah, I've already heard like 4 or 5, like half of these songs already from this listening session or whatever. And then I was listening to somebody talk about it and they're like, yeah, typically when songs are leaked, they just switch the whole thing up. Like you don't get those on the album. And then it was like, well, do you think there's another album coming like next year? Because at first I was like, all right, this could have been the final albums for both of them. That was my thought. Because I'm like, Kanye's a billionaire. Drake's getting close if he's not already a billionaire. And
no, because he signed to one nigga that signed to another nigga that signed to 3 niggas. Now that's bad luck.
But what billionaires put out an album?
Jack?
Just Hov.
Did he put it out before he hit $1 billion or after?
I think, 444 is after.
Yeah, 444 was after.
Well, I mean, 444 is still. I still love 444.
He had to do that one.
I tell you right now, listening to 444 while going through 444 while going through a divorce is one of the worst goddamn like. Jay Fountain.
Okay, yeah.
In the future, other niggas is playing football with his son.
But yeah,
I was at my friend's house painting their bathroom, and I was listening to 444, and I was like, I had to take a moment, and I had to leave, go outside and smoke a cigarette. I was just like, Jay, nigga, why are you doing that, man? Like,
yeah, fam, I was sitting up there like thinking that I did shit that I didn't do. I'm sitting there like, baby, I'm sorry.
No, Jay had me.
That I had.
He had me reevaluate everything. I'm going to therapy.
Like,
saying,
all right, so, I can't do this because if I do, I'm gonna end up like this. Please.
Nah, I literally brought up 444 in therapy more than once. So just, but here the CLB thing. When I first download the album on Apple Music, the first thing that pops up is that they have like a little blurb about it. Did y'all read the blurb?
No.
Drake describes Certified Lover Boy as a combination of toxic masculinity and acceptance of truth, which is inevitably heartbreaking. That is the deepest, dumb, hollow, shallow shit.
Yeah, but K-Dot, look
but
at
it's
all
accurate.
the other ones they do. All the descriptions they do are just bullshit.
But I'm saying
stupid.
No, but this in particular, I thought it completely summed up the album perfectly. I thought he knew exactly what he was doing with it. It was toxic masculinity, and at the end, it's heartbreaking. But the thing is that he doesn't have it in him to really turn the face and look at what toxic masculinity actually is and to deal with it on a societal level. Or Drake is walking around saying, hey, guys, I'm a fuckboy. Everyone knows I'm a fuckboy, but you're going to respect the fact that I'm a fuckboy because I'm going to make you dance. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, you got a bot. It's like, what? Oh. But you're looking for the heartbreak aspect of it. It's just, because I'm a fuckboy, I'm sad. And I need you to feel for me in what it is that I'm feeling. Because I'm sad, because I'm a fuckboy and I put myself in these situations. But I only do it because my family has issues, but I ain't gonna talk about that. I love my son. Like, nigga, what?
And
I love my son for me. I love my son.
When you said Drake only makes 3 to 5 like versions of songs, mm-hmm. You also got to put in the snippets that he does where somebody comes in and just like kills some shit. And he's like, all right, cut the song here. That's enough. Yeah, like he can't be killing.
Drake needs to just be an SNL cast member and like be the most talented SNL cast member. Like you'll have songs on deck. Like you could take over what Lonely Island was doing because you can make parody songs better. Anybody can make a parody song. You're also funny. You can act. You can do all these things. It's like you're masquerading as this dude because you get your pussy. Beyond that shit, you're deeper than this. Just be a comic or an actor or something. Just do something else.
I think he should go back into acting. I think
hugely.
He should. Like, I think he should. I really do.
I just don't think that he's...
I might not watch the movie, but I think he should.
Yeah, I won't watch the movie.
No, but that's the thing is that I need him to not take himself so seriously. Because he battles with that. He takes himself super seriously.
But he doesn't. He does, but he doesn't.
But that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. It's the B Rabbit syndrome. It's I'm going to make fun of me, so you can't make fun of me. Even though it really hurts me when you make fun of me. LeBron, have I made you proud? Like, what?
I was watching. I saw some tweets.
You were proud of me.
Push it. I don't care. I don't care about Kanye and Push. I'm gonna release the 3 Stack song. Nigga, you care a lot. Then
it's the fact that he thought he was doing something like, oh, like when he posted on Instagram, he was like, what was the caption? Something about like we digging waste removal. I'm like, bro, like. You didn't really do like you released a song that's fire and it sounded better than probably some of the joints on your shit. Like, oh, you killing Kanye, like oh my God, like you killing it out here, Drake. Like, oh, you're such a boss. Mob ties. Like, what the fuck? That shit didn't do nothing.
My favorite thing is they say that Drake, when he gets around athletes, always looks like the proud girlfriend. And if you look at any of the pictures, bro. That man.
That's what you can see. This little Canadian boy was on the teen show. Nobody took him seriously, so he took himself super seriously to get on. And trust me, early Drake when he's doing the features is hungry Drake, and I love it. And he's spitting bars, especially on the features, because he's trying to get taken seriously. When he's in the room with the heavyweights, he's coming correct. I don't know if he wrote all those bars, but he's coming correct. And but past a certain point, just individually, there's no, here's what I am. I'm okay being what I am. It really bothers me if you tell me that I'm bad at this. and I'm just going to continue on about my life. And it's like there's nothing that we're getting from you artistically, man. Not a thing.
Okay.
Like we might get some stuff from a production standpoint, but I give Boy Wonder more credit than you. Like it's
40
for 40. Yeah, it's just not you.
No content, just vibes, bro.
Tick, tick, tick. I'm sorry.
So, hey, there we go. Okay, so let's wrap this up with our like 0 to 10. What are we giving Certified Lover Boy?
So, K-Dot, you want to go first? Or?
4.
Okay.
Do something different.
Come on, do something.
Do the Lil Wayne thing. Just release a rock album. Just do something different.
At first, I was going to give it a 5. But after I thought about it more and the points that I was bringing up about the fact that half the songs are already leaked, it made me think like, all right, so what the fuck were you doing from February to now?
Like, nursing that ACL, man.
No, fuck that. He was looking like a proud girlfriend by June. The fuck was you doing?
Renting out stadiums to take chicks on dates, just being an absolute ass.
He could have thought of a whole bunch of shit from that thing right there in itself, but like his actions were more like towards the title of Certified Lover Boy than the music. So, I ended up dropping it down to a 4, like K-Dot. So, because if you pit him against himself. Like, I'm not coming back to this album either. Like, I had to listen to it on the way today, and I'm like, I don't care.
I think y'all did worse than y'all gave it a worse review than I am, because I think it's to get to this last point of the pod. Like, I think it's better than Kanye's album, so I'm giving it a 6 point. What I gave Kanye a 6.1, Drake's a 6.2. Like,
so you on the Pitchfork meter?
I am. No. I was thinking Pitchfork.
You're really thinking Pitchfork. Yep.
And so I'm like at 6.2. So that's where I am with it. And I still think it's his worst album. Not his worst project. Dark Lane Demo Tape is his worst project. That shit was ass. But it's his worst album to me. And I say that to say, so my final verdict is that Certified Lover Boy is better than Donda, but it's also ass.
Well, I mean, I'm saying like the drama outshined the music. The expectations and all of the shit that Kanye did like fucked him over. If he didn't do all that shit and just put out the music and you get what you get, that would have been better, like, for me in terms of a reception. But like, if you sit there and expect one thing and then he puts the baby on some shit and you're like, the fuck is this? And then it's like, all right, now, because you remember when he had the show and the baby came out, Marilyn Manson sitting there and it was like, wait, is Jay, like, did he take Jay off the fucking song and then just put the baby? Like, what the hell?
I still think that's what he wanted to do.
What do you mean?
I think the Universal, when they dropped 2 different versions. I think that if it was up to Kanye, it would only been Jail Point 2.
No,
no, I agree.
I thought he wanted both.
Maybe both. It might have,
because when it came out, what's the name? The baby's verse wasn't on the album at all.
I know.
And they added in later.
I think he fought for that version. I think he fought to have that version on. I think that version is the final product that he wanted.
All right,
I'm being honest. I'm just being honest, but like, I don't know that for sure. That's what I think.
Do you think it would be because Kanye wanted the baby to be separate, or the fact that Jay probably didn't want to be on a song with the baby because you know how he's aligned with Meg?
I think midway through making this album, like I said, Kanye was almost out of his bullshit. There is stuff in that album that shows Kanye might have turned a corner past the Kanye we've seen the last 3 or 4 years. And I think Jay put it on wax. And I think when push came to shove, Kanye did more of his bullshit and that wasn't where his head is anymore. He's back to the bullshit. He reverted right back.
Kim
came back, and here I am, the baby and Marilyn Manson on this song. Like, that to me is what it is. That to me is the direction you can see the album goes in. It's the first version of the song with 3 Stacks doesn't have any mention about Drake. You give him enough time, he's got to fucking mention Drake. Like, that to me is where it is that you're seeing from him. Is it the more time you gave him during this project, he got worse. So if I had to name a big, like I ranked him the way I ranked him, I'm only going to give Kanye more credit than Drake because I think he actually tries to do something artistically. I don't think Drake is doing any of that. I don't think Drake cares about artistry. I think he cares about getting paid. But if I'm going to pick a winner or a loser, there is no winner between these two. The winner is bullshit. The loser is hip hop. There are much better content coming out. Give me anything from Griselda. Give me anything from Dreamville. Give me anything from all these other places over these two motherfuckers right now. Because right now, I don't even want another Kanye album for a while. That I never thought I'd hear me say that. I don't want anything from Kanye right now.
Wait a minute. That just reminded me when I said TDE. Hey, don't you remember that SZA was supposed to be coming out?
She's still supposed to, allegedly.
I thought she was coming in July.
I thought just like movie dates after COVID, I don't think anything makes sense right now.
Yeah. Well, Kehlani, Kehlani has to let her go first, but I'm sure she'll drop.
Wait, I thought Kehlani was with Victoria Monet.
Kehlani is with whoever she wants to be with, and Fair. Victoria Monet is not with Kehlani anymore. Oh, yeah. She has a baby, right? She just had a baby with her. I think her husband. I think he's married.
Oh shit! Awesome. But congratulations.
Whatever. The women love her significant, her baby daddy. They love him.
Oh, I thought you were about to say the women love Victoria Monet. I was like, shit, I do too.
No, they love her too. I do. Shout out to Ass Like That.
Yep. And Moment. Moment is a song. K-Dot, you ever heard Moment?
No, I just all I'm thinking about right now. I'm not playing that. No, I don't care about R&B. I want to, but I don't care as much. Which is another reason why the Drake albums are so unlistenable to me. Is like, here's an R&B nigga that isn't in the lane yet. He doesn't sing quite as good as he needs to, and it just doesn't work. Whereas Ye, I don't care. I still put only one. Him and Paul McCartney song will still make me cry any fucking day. You know why? Kanye's non-singing ass is just being emotional, and it gets me. I understand. That's it. Like, that's all I want to hear. I just want to hear art. I want to hear vulnerability. I want to hear you go to the deep depths of your soul and to let the shit out. I want the songs where I know when the artist is hearing it, it bothers them to hear it because of how deep they went with it. That, to me, is the core of art, is like to try to find this truth in it. And that I will always respect artists that do that. Like, there are time for party songs. I like party songs fine enough. I like the shallow shit that just I can bop to. But I will always have a special place in my heart for actual true art, which is why I love what Tyler does every album release nowadays compared to what he did used to, where you saw technically he had it, but now he's getting there. I appreciate that part of it. And I think that's another reason why R&B bothers me so goddamn much, is that they're never about love songs. It's about just fucking people or trying to get somebody to fall in love. I think if you really look at it, I was telling my girlfriend this, just a quick sidebar. There are rarely songs about being in actual love that exist, that are good. Most songs are about trying to get somebody to fall in love with you, or breakups, or how your heart is feeling behind anything, but there are a few songs that are actually about love.
Adele would disagree, but I hear you.
I just sent over an album. Listen to that tonight.
One quick point: Adele is R&B and not pop, and it bothers me that they don't put her in R&B. But that's all I got. That's all.
It's that whole,
she doesn't make pop music.
They don't know what to do with the blue-eyed soul from Britain. They haven't known what to do for a very long time. Whether it be
they're doing what they want to do with it. They know what to do with it. They're doing what they want to do.
Like, oh, Adele, you white? Nah, can't go over there.
Yeah, but motherfuckers don't understand where she was raised.
It's like Lizzo. They put Lizzo in R&B and she makes pop music.
Well, that's what they try to do with the Tyler.
Lizzo, you black? You going over there?
You over there?
Yep.
But
they did the same shit with Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler, the Urban.
Tyler, that was an R&B album, but they put him in hip hop.
Igor is not a hip hop album.
Yeah, and using hip hop, and I'm glad he called him out on it.
I need another Childish Gambino trap. I know he's done.
So final verdicts. K-Dot, you got Donda being better than CLB?
Yeah, but we all lose.
Okay, James.
I don't care. This wasn't made with the intent of being something that we're gonna listen to in a year.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I got CLB being
moment in time. Like the best part of this fucking beef was the fact that Kanye sold out stadiums and Drake did another 7 a.m. and whatever the fuck.
I got a second winner. Outkast.
Nah,
the reason I say Outkast is that
Lil Baby. My bad.
Lil Baby comes out on top. Jay doesn't really affect his status. The 3 Stacks. The reason I say 3 Stacks is that I think people are talking about Outkast these last 2 weeks more than they have been recently. Also, the Big Boy driving down in Atlanta, where the video that went viral. That song is so underrated. It's fucking him and Killer Mike with Sleepy Brown. It's a fucking dope ass song. That people
they need to give more flowers to Big Boy.
Which is why I say Outkast is a winner. Is that 3 Stacks being in the conversation, Big Boy going viral? Outkast had a nice little run these last 2 weeks.
We're going off on a tangent and like we're getting off track. But I want to say one thing because you say Big Boy deserves his flowers. He had the best verse on International Players Anthem. And I think it wasn't close. And that's my opinion. And so with that, I want to say all opinions are unequal.
Big Boy's a better rapper than 3 Stacks.
What?
Woo! Oh, we're saving that for next time. We gotta save that for next time. All right,
man. I'm not trying to pit 2 black people against each other again.
We've done that's okay, what we do. Bruce Wayne was us not following.
I just look. Let's alternate. Pick 2 white people to go against each other next time.
We had a list of topics. I forgot what we said we're going to do next.
I still want to do, is Forrest Gump a good movie, or is it the whitest movie ever made?
No, we can do that one day.
All right. Cool. All right, guys.
All right. Take us out, Keem.
All right. That was it. All opinions are unequal. I said it. That was it.
Yeah, but I had to say something afterwards, so it kind of stepped all over it. Sorry. What he said.
That's fine.